From straws to takeaway containers, plastic bags and personal protective equipment. The amount of plastic that's being used every year is growing. Despite a global push for recycling and reducing single-use plastics, much of this ends up as waste in the world's oceans. Every year, about 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean. That's equivalent to over 15 bags of garbage on every meter of coastline around the world.
We can immediately see the impact this has on the marine life. But what we do not know for sure now is to what extent it has an impact on human health. Because as the plastic stays in the ocean, it gets sunlight, it does break down into what we call microplastics. And these are able to enter our food chain through human consumption of seafood. And now many researchers are, of course, trying to understand how these microplastics would affect the human health.
According to the 2015 report by the Ocean Conservancy and McKinsey, 60% of all plastic waste in the ocean comes from 5 Asian countries: China, Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam and Thailand. Although Singapore doesn't contribute much to plastic pollution in the ocean, experts say we still have a part to play in the cleanup.
Anyone who has gone to East Coast Park in the morning would have seen the amount of plastic waste that's being washed ashore. So this really shows that this is a transboundary problem. It doesn't matter where the plastics come from, whether it originates in Singapore or some other countries. So this, to solve a plastic waste problem, it requires a coordinated effort globally and shared responsibility in a collective approach. So Singapore is also very well positioned to drive leadership in this issue.
The Incubation Network was founded in Singapore in 2019 with just that goal in mind. And to do it, they're focusing on supporting entrepreneurs.
We see entrepreneurs as the engine room for changing systems. So think of us as being able to source, support and scale the best and brightest ideas to address this problem. Now, entrepreneurs by themselves aren't going to solve this problem alone, so we also work with other key stakeholders to ensure a more enabling environment for entrepreneurs or businesses to scale. We work with governments to help them implement policies that could potentially de-risk an entrepreneur from moving into the space. We work with large corporations who have the ability to really shape the way these markets work.
One of the programs run by the Incubation Network is the Plastic Data Challenge. It attracted hundreds of entrepreneurs from around the world with innovative ideas on working with data to understand how material flows through waste systems across the region. One of the finalists from the challenge is a startup called ClearBot.
ClearBot is a swarm of robots that collects trash out of the ocean or out of rivers. We have a camera on board that's able to detect the trash, classify the trash, and then the robots work together to bring it back to shore. Disposal partner to recycle or responsibly dispose of the waste that we collect out of the sea.
The Incubation Network has helped ClearBot to find suitable mentors and connected them with an accelerator in Surabaya to trial their prototype. As one of the finalists of the challenge, they also received $10,000 in funding. Mr. Baldwin says entrepreneurs like this, with specific solutions for local problems, are key to cleaning the oceans.
The Asia Development Bank estimated that this ocean plastics issues and the recycling crisis is a $1.3 billion market. And we're finding that there's lots of people with ideas, but there's such little coordination within the ecosystem. So we really think that we're able to help wayfind, we're able to help navigate some of these startups through this emerging and exciting space. We're able to help them connect to mentors. We're able to help them to connect to early grants and funding that allows them to kind of experiment and scale. They're too risky at the moment for venture capital. But our idea is that through these pilot studies And through these projects that we can support them with, building their relationships and building their connections into the region.
He also welcomed the government's recent budget announcements and the Green Plan, which he believes will help create a market for startups.
When governments create goals and aspirations and set targets, it allows us to de-risk entrepreneurs moving into that space. We saw in the Singapore Green Plan announce really ambitious goals for improving waste sorting technology, increasing recycling, turning ash from incineration into building materials. These are all great examples that we can say to entrepreneurs, hey, this is an opportunity. We can help you, we can help expose you to this opportunity, and in a way it de-risks their entry into that space because then they know that there is a market for the types of technologies that they're working on.